Okay, so first and most important is let's put in the big word that says, I am a quotation. Okay, now that's fine and it's fitting. Now I'm going to show you, let's change the font size. So I'm going to select it all. You can use this little option here or under home up the top here. It's up to you. I'm going to make it nice and big. You can see here, if I hit 28, okay, it's big and it's flowed across to the other page and it causes everything to fall apart. So we're going to look at lining things up, aligning them. Okay, so at the moment this is aligned left, so it pushes out that way. So we're going to have this cell selected, and up the top here under home, there's an option here that says left align. And it's just going to kind of make sure that we're on this furthest cell, but it's pushing from the right out left. So if I keep adding text in here now, it'll keep going that way and not bunch into another page. Okay, the other thing we need to know is looking up the top here. We just need to keep an eye on this because there's going to be times where it does just jump out to this other page and you're going to wonder what's wrong. So what's happening is you can see there's this white area and then there's this kind of like darker gray area. So the darker gray is what actually appears on the page. These lighter gray here are the margins, so nothing can appear in here. And you can see there's a little bit of gap between this last column, okay, this guy here, and this little gap here. So I can make them a little bit bigger. But if I go too far, watch this, if I go past into that white stuff, it goes pachong, and we ends up wrecking everything. So I'm going to undo that. So you can push it all the way out here, but just make sure our cell doesn't span across this gap here. Okay, so yeah, just make sure everything fits in there. So there's my quotation, great. Fonts, you can change easily up here. We're going to use Calibri, it's fine. You might have a corporate font you can change it to. And we're going to add just some basic details in here. Now I'm going to leave this, this line here free, just as like a spacer. I'm going to type in our address. Here, our office in New Zealand is at 666 Great South Road. It's a terrible address. It's been good luck for us anyway. And we're going to put in our address. Great, easy, that's our address. We're going to look at putting in some other digits. So we're going to put in our date. I'm going to just put it over here. There's no like specific place. Now, what I want to do is have the date here, and underneath it, I'm going to have the quote number, and I'll just put in like a hash, hash even. Okay, and underneath that, it's going to be valid for, valid for. Now, quotes can be a little different depending on industries. You might have to go through and find some examples of quotations just to make sure you've got all the details you need. We're going to put in all the main basic stuff so you can add and remove as you need. One thing I want though is you can see they're kind of lining up to the left, and if I start putting details over here, I want them all to line to the right just because they look nicer. So I'm going to select all three of these and I'm going to go right align. Great. So all the kind of colons line up. Now over here, we're going to put in, we're going to skip date for the moment. We're going to put in 100 for the quote number. You can put any number you want. Okay, it doesn't have to be a number, but say we do put a number in here. So we're starting ours because say it's the first day of business and we want to impress people like we've already got, you're like customer 99, but you're not. Okay, you're number 1, but you want to make it feel like they're 99. Okay, what happens when you're formatting numbers is text wants to be left aligned, okay, by default. So if I put text in, left aligned. If I put in numbers, watch, right aligned. Okay, that's just the defaults for those two, those two ways of entering data. We can override them. So first of all, I want my number, I want it to be left aligned. Okay, and I also want those zeros back in. And to do that, we're going to have it selected and we're going to be on home and we're going to use this option here. It's in this little group called number. And in the drop down at the top here, general kind of gets rid of those 2 zeros. And what we're going to do is switch to text. Okay, this makes it do less. It just kind of goes in as block text. Okay, so now if I add 00, it will stay there and not remove. Okay, so you might need these for your quotation numbering. Yeah, and valid for, and we're going to say 30 days. And the other thing we want to do is, we'll do it with the date as well. I know we haven't done the date, we'll do that in the next video, but there's not much of a gap between these here. So I'm going to select all of these. And what I could do is I could kind of grab these and cut them and paste them over here and then make this one really small, and that kind of formatting does work. Okay, but what I want to do is select all of these guys and I'm going to use under home, there's this one in here called indent. Okay, so there's a decrease and increase. I want to increase the indent just to push it across a little bit, just so there's a bit of gap between the two. Great, let's throw in the rest of our details. So this is going to be client details. So I'm going to bold this one. Okay, Control B, or you can use the bold at the top here. And this is where you put in some placeholder, because this is obviously going to change depending on every client. So maybe client name, business name, and this will be replaced for every person, so address. Okay, often some businesses, well, a lot of businesses I deal with need these details. They need business name, their limited company name, and their address, and potentially a phone number as well. Otherwise, they don't accept it as a valid quote. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some special instructions. Now, this might seem simple, so we're just going to add like notes. It might just be some details like special delivery instructions, or just any sort of like special things you need to add to this quote to explain it right. Okay, and that's pretty easy. But what I want to do is I want a nice big chunk of, like a text field that I can put into this. Because what happens is I've got some text that I want to put in. So if I go to my exercise files and open up one called O1 quotation copy, there's just a little bit of text that I want to add. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and paste it into Excel. And if I paste it into a cell here, what happens is it just runs on forever and pushes over to this other page and loads of problems. So I'm going to undo. So there's a couple of things I want to do is I'm going to select all of these guys. Okay, so I've got two rows and a bunch of columns. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge them. So be under Home, and along the top here, there's one called Merge and Center. Okay, Merge and Center means it's going to merge all these cells, and it means that the text is going to appear in the center of the cell. It's not what I want. In this little drop down here, there's a simple one just called Merge Cells. Okay, so now it's one big text block, but if I paste inside of it, double click, hit paste, it still kind of works. Watch this, I click off, it kind of goes there, but then it gets cut off. So what I want to do is I've pasted my text in, okay, like I just did there. I've got it selected, this one cell, and up the top here, just above where it says merge, there's one called text wrap. That's what I want. Okay, so it means that it's going to get to the end of this box and not just get cut off, but it's going to wrap back around. And you can make this as tall as you need to. Okay, you might make it 3 cells just in case there's lots of text in there. Okay, so that is how to do some basic text input. We've done some cell merging and some aligning. Let's look at putting the date in the next video. Why is it special? You'll see in the next video.